Welcome back to the show. Let's talk some college hoops and a little bit of college football because he does it all. The great Bill Bender is here, ladies and gentlemen. Check out his bracketology over at the Sporting News. Mr. Bender, let's talk about Chad Baker-Mazara. He is the 26-year-old that a lot of people in the college basketball world are talking about today because he walked off the court like his knee was bothering him in a game against Nebraska. Then he came back out on the court. He was seen sitting with the fans nearby the bench, but not on the bench. Then it's announced yesterday he's not going to play for the team again this season, effectively ending his college career at the end of 26. For people who don't know a lot about Chad Baker-Mazara, fill us in on why this story is getting so much attention.
Key player for USC, right? And they've kind of hit the wall a little bit in Big Ten play. They're probably off the bubble right now, so that for Coach Musselman, that doesn't certainly help. Talented scorer, talented player, but another sign of the times of what we're living in college basketball and college football, for that matter, where player movement isn't exclusive to the end of the game, I suppose.
So, Bill, that leads into my question, right? Because if you go back and look at the graduating class that Chad Baker-Mazara was a part of, I'm going to read you a couple of these names. You just let me know if they sound familiar. Cade Cunningham, the guy who may win NBA MVP in his third season in the league this year. Jalen Green, who's been a staple down south for the Rockets for years. Evan Mobley, who's been on multiple competitive Cavaliers teams. Jonathan Kuminga, who just requested a trade from the team that originally drafted him and is now on his second team in the NBA. Which leads me, Bill, to this. Chad Baker-Mazara, obviously, is a guy who has been around college athletics for a very long time. Throughout the course of this season, you and I have talked about professional basketball players going back to college basketball, leaving the NBA G League, going back to try and play in college basketball until the courts get involved. Truly, how far away are we from some player that has already left a college football team, some 26, 27-year-old man, going back and trying to play again in the SEC?
I mean, it'll happen eventually. Maybe. I think the Bediako ruling slowed that down a little bit, though we're not completely finished with that. There's been, whether it's Aguilar or Chambliss, Chandler Morris, that's the one I couldn't think of, these injunctions and hearings for 6th and 7th year players. I mean, at the root of it, though, Chad Baker-Mazara is a talented basketball player. Scored 20 or more points in 11 games this year. I remember watching him earlier this season against Michigan. He can score. He can play a little bit. But, again, sign of the times. I mean, his college basketball career is near an end anyway. And for USC, it just hasn't been a good finish to the season. I know they got a couple chances here in the final week of Big Ten play.
Give me a thought on St. John's last week. I was shocked to see them get throttled by UConn the way they were. We thought this was going to be a big game. It's on Peacock. Oh, my God. And then UConn just runs roughshod all over them. St. John's, as Sam would like to say, throwing up all over themselves. So
they didn't make a field goal for the last 17 minutes of the game,
as Sam has been wont to remind me. So give me your thoughts. Is it just a one-off sort of thing here for St. John's? Does this, in your mind, I know you already kind of had UConn on that one line. Does this solidify them on that one line? Give me your thoughts coming out of that game.
I mean, bad 17 minutes, obviously, but they may do it again in the Big East tournament. Have a round 3. They've obviously split 2 meetings. I think St. John's is pretty locked into that 5, bounce back with the big win against Villanova. UConn's interesting. We'll be filing our bracketology today at Sporting News like we do every Monday, and it's a tough call between them and Florida.
Do you have them as a 1 right now?
I do, but okay. It's tenuous because Florida's coming. Florida's playing really good basketball right now. I know that 8-2 record for UConn against Quad 1 might hold up, but I mean, who would you guys put on the 1 line right now? I have UConn slightly over Florida, but if Florida wins the SEC tournament, they'll be a 1 seed.
Sam?
Yeah. It's tough, and it leads into my question, Bill, which I think I already know your answer to. Is there any way we get 2 Big 12 teams as 1 seeds?
Probably not now. I mean, I think Arizona's looking pretty good for that after the blowout victory they had over the weekend. And then you get into Houston and Iowa State. Iowa State was number 1 in the bracket preview. You could argue they're number 3 right now. You know, Houston coming back from their losses. They'll probably be on that number 2 line. And then the Big Ten crowd behind Michigan are going to be schools that are all over the number 2 and number 3 line. So we got a long way to go.
You mentioned Michigan. They lose Kason, and look, part of the beauty of this Michigan team is their depth. We talk about them, basically having 8 or 9 starters that they can trot out there. I mean, is it an overreaction to say the Kason loss is a big loss?
It's a loss. It's a big loss, but they have depth, right? So it's going to, I think where it puts more pressure on Michigan is L.A. Cadeau, who we wrote about last week and did a big profile on him. He will have to play. There'll be a little more pressure on him not to turn the ball over. They had some creative lineups with Kason and Elliott at the same time. It's an unfortunate injury, the way that it happened. You saw the play that he made, and LJ had been playing so well. But it's probably going to mean that they slide Damari Burnett over to the point a little bit. Maybe Yaxel Lindenberg will play some more guard. Still a really good Michigan team, though, even if they lose one of those contributors. To
go back to your question on who I'd put on the 1 line, you're telling me you put Florida, if Florida and UConn both win their conference tournaments, you still put Florida above UConn?
It'll be close. I mean, because of that the quality of play in the SEC, depending on who they have to go through. And they are the defending champion, and they are playing extremely well. If UConn played Florida on a neutral court tomorrow, Florida might be favored. I think they might. The way that they're playing right now. So it is a coin flip, and there are this is that thing, Jason. We've got 5 1 seeds right now because I think all 5 of those teams, Duke, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, Florida, are all worthy of that 1 line right now.
We got 30 seconds. Go ahead, Sam.
Bill, huge result in the ACC over the weekend between Duke and UVA. They blew out the Cavaliers. I mean, it's as simple as that. What did you learn the most about this Duke team from that game?
Oh, they had no hangover from Michigan. They won their last 2 games by over 30 points per game, and Boozer is a double-double machine. They're going to be tough out no matter who they play, and heading into that North Carolina game this week.
Bruce Pearl took a dump on Miami. We're going to talk about that. And by Miami, I mean Miami of Ohio. I know, if you're eating your Wheaties this morning, I'm sorry. I just probably ruined it for you. We'll get to that with Bill Bender coming up. And I got to throw in a college football question because we got the combine going on. Bill Bender knows all these college football players like the back of his hand, so we'll ask him something about one player in particular as we continue on Sports Wrap. Don't go anywhere. The one and only Bill Bender joins us from the Sporting News every Monday here on Sports Wrap to talk college basketball. I'm going to throw in a college football question in here in this segment as well because he joins us every Monday to talk college football too during the college football season. So Bruce Pearl, never shy on opinions. As I said before the break, he dumped one on Miami, saying they have to win out to make the tournament in his mind. They got to stay undefeated. Where is this animus coming from? You know, he's got a son who's coaching a team that's on the bubble. People want to talk about that. Or is this Bruce Pearl just trying to get us all talking about Bruce Pearl?
Maybe a little, but also his son's team is 15-14 and probably on that first 4 out or next 4 out or, at some point. So which one would you rather see? The team that went 29-0.
It's easy.
They escaped Friday night at Western Michigan. This happens at that point in an undefeated season where you're going to get everybody's best shot. I suppose they might get Ohio's best shot on Friday at the Convo. But, I'm taking Miami. I don't know that the committee will. But, it's so funny how they would go from potential 7 or 8 seed out of the tournament.
That's crazy.
St. Louis drops 2 lines for losing a game. Gonzaga still drops a line or 2 just for losing a game. So I don't agree with Bruce on this one. I would still take Miami over a 14-loss team in a conference just for playing in the conference and being mediocre.
Would you still take Miami of Ohio if they lose to Toledo at home or if they lose to your beloved Ohio Bobcats before before the regular season ends, Bill, do you think that this is a team that has to at least make it to the conference tournament undefeated to get in, to get one of those at-large bids?
I mean, maybe, but they're still 30-1 at that point, right?
It's like crazy talk.
32-2, like what? And we're gonna send you to the NIT?
Yeah.
You're just telling the MAC at that point you will not get 2 bids. They got 2 bids my freshman year of college. Miami of Ohio and Kent both went, and I believe both won a game. You know, Miami ends up going to the Sweet 16. Kent had some really good teams, and that's where I would grade this Miami team. They're a really good basketball team, independent of the strength of the Mid-American Conference. So I think it would be a travesty, although easy to foresee travesty, if they're left out of the tournament.
But you know what the sad part is? As I sit here, I could see it happening. I mean, we've seen far more worthy teams, forget wins, losses. We've seen far more worthy teams left out of this tournament by not necessarily this particular committee, but by the committee in general. You know, and the outrage will come from it, and then everybody will say we need to go to 128 teams and all of this madness. I mean, we've seen it before, Bill.
Yeah, and the solution isn't to add more teams. The solution is to, you know, there was not always the Ken Pom metric or the net metrics that I think we rely. They're very useful. I use them every week. I know their importance, but they don't have to be the end-all, be-all for every tournament bracket bubble decision. And I think Miami, just common sense would have to apply here of what you're watching. Now, if they go in the tournament as a 7 or 8 seed and get just absolutely destroyed, you know, there's almost more pressure on them than any of those 1 seeds we mentioned.
What do you think the chances, Bill, that the committee lets Miami into the tournament but says you have to play an extra game? You have to play in that Tuesday 11 or 11 first 4 game. Yeah. Do you think that's on the table for Miami?
Possibly, you know, or one of it. But I think that spot's generally reserved for 2. One of those games would be 2 huge brands. Like, you know, I've got Ohio State off the bubble right now, but you could see like a TCU Missouri type matchup, something like that. That will be one of them. And then the other one would be something like New Mexico and Miami at that point. And that's kind of how they handle those games traditionally. But I would still put them in. Just put them in the tournament at that point. Play them as an 11. Give them a tough matchup. Do whatever you need to do. But whether this is Wichita State or Indiana State over the years, they always do this to the mid-major conferences. You're just used to the treatment.
Can I ask you a college football question? You know, and I think we talked about Diego Pavia at some point during the college football season with you.
You think?
Yeah, I'm sure we did. But, you know, we've watched this guy. We all kind of know the shtick, what he is. He's being guided by Johnny Manziel, being mentored by Johnny Manziel, as he talked about in his press conference at the Combine. He worked out, and we saw all the things that you'd see. Take all the extraneous stuff and put it aside, and I know that's difficult to do. From a pure playing standpoint, could he play in the NFL? Do you think he could succeed in the NFL if he gets an opportunity?
I think a couple things with Diego. If he does, he's going to be one of the more intriguing preseason players this year because people are rooting for him to fail. Believe it or not, I think he has a keen sense of self-awareness and who he is. Like, you watch him, you'd be like, yeah, this is who he is. It's not for everyone. He clearly knows it's not for everyone. But I thought he threw the ball reasonably well for who he is at the Combine. And what I mean by that is he's not going to throw an 80-yard bomb. Like, you know, or any of that. And he's not going to wow with that. But I thought he was mostly on time. Not running the 40, maybe a little mistake in the interview process. Like I said, if you're going to take your advice from Johnny Manziel, it's probably important to note that Johnny Manziel played exactly 2 years in the NFL. And I forgot how long he had played. I had to look it up yesterday. How long did Johnny play? Because I had forgotten how long he had played, honestly. So I don't know if that's the path you want to take.
Bill, there was a big hoo-ha made about this hand size, or I'm sorry, not hand size, arm length.
This is getting weird.
At the scouting combine this year. How much do you think the physical attributes, the measurables, that's the word I was looking for, could actually impact a player's draft stock, be it a defensive end who's got short arms or a wide receiver who's got small hands?
Yeah, I mean, in Ruben Bain and Cassius Howe's case, I'm not sure it's going to matter. I mean, if you can play, you can play. I think the game's changed a little bit with how much we pass, that if you're going to get your pass rushing opportunities, go get them. I heard Ruben Bain being compared to Melvin Ingram. Thought that was a decent one. If you're getting that, if you're getting a Brandon Graham type player, right. I mean, that's great. I mean, you know, he'll have a great career at that point. Cassius Howe, same deal, had a great. The one measurable that I'm starting to pay more attention to is that 10-yard split. Because, like, if you think about it, that's how you have to be able to explode for 10 yards. Where you go from there on the 40, that's for running backs and receivers. But, you know, with linemen and linebackers, you really watch that 10-yard split.
Bill Bender does a great job on college basketball and during college football season, joins us as well. He is a man of all seasons. I always appreciate you, my friend. Have a great week. We'll do it again next week.
Hey, sounds good, guys. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the show. I'd like to say we're saving the best for last today because it really does feel that way. I almost moved up this segment in the show just because what Tyler Reddick is doing is out of this world, Jerry Bonkowski. Essentially sports. You can check out Jerry's work there on NASCAR. Well, I'll give you credit. You came on this show last Monday and said that, oh, look at that belly laugh. There it is. You said Shane Van Gisbergen wouldn't win this race. He basically went off at even money on Sunday to win this race, which is rare in NASCAR. But you also, I don't know if anybody in their right mind thought that Tyler Reddick would be the guy to win, let alone win his third race to start the season. Jerry, this is uncharted territory, what we're seeing right now with Tyler Reddick.
Well, the biggest thing I think, Jason, about Tyler Reddick is he's won on three entirely different different racetracks. He's won the super speedway, he's won at a high-speed speedway, and then he's also won the road course. So I'm really curious where he goes from here. I mean, he's got the target on his back from everybody. I mean, I don't think there were very many people that would said that he would have won on a road course, but he's really not a bad road course driver to begin with. So, yes, I was right about Shane Van Gisbergen, but he came in second, so I'll give you that. But I like what I'm seeing from Reddick. I mean, I think that he could continue this streak for another 2-3 races. I think if he keeps the momentum going, I mean, he's got a great team behind him. Michael Jordan is throwing all kinds of money at the team. He's just doing everything he needs to do.
Then help me understand a couple of things that I want to spin off of this conversation on now. And I'm going to be a bit of a Debbie Downer on a couple of things here. Tyler Reddick has won the first 3 races of this season, yet I look at the odds for the NASCAR Cup Series championship. Kyle Larson's ahead of him. Denny Hamlin's ahead of him. William Byron's ahead of him. Ryan Blaney's ahead of him. Christopher Bell's ahead of him. Chase Elliott's ahead of him. Why is he still not getting the love? Not that I'm crazy about NASCAR betting. I don't think I've ever wagered $1 on NASCAR. But why is it that he's still not getting the love when we look at the entire season and projecting where this thing ends at the end of the year?
Well, I think it can be answered very simply. I mean, if you look back to what he did between 2022 and 2024, he had 8 wins out of the 3, in 3 seasons rather. Last year, horrible season. 2025 doesn't win a race. I think a lot of people that were very supportive of him kind of lost that support last season. And now that he's won 3 in a row, yes, fantastic, great job by him. But I think there's still a little bit of a hesitation for people to really believe that he's for real. Me, he's for real. I'm convinced of it. I think that what you're seeing here at the beginning of the season is going to be the same way you're going to see at the end of the season. He's going to start strong and he's going to finish strong. Right now, he's probably my number 1 candidate to win the championship.
Okay. So move from that to the next question, which is this. It was great when Reddick won the Daytona 500 and Michael Jordan wins a crown jewel race and everybody's going crazy. Then they win in Atlanta and it's wow again, Michael Jordan's team and Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace has been great and this is all wonderful. Now he wins this one. At what point do you start to wonder, okay, is this going to draw more people in? We've played the Michael Jordan thing as much as we can. What is the draw to bring casual, if not non-NASCAR viewers in? How much does Tyler Reddick help that? Does it start to become a thing of, we got to watch just to see if somebody can beat him? Like, where does it become that story? I'm trying to figure out where the draw is for NASCAR off of this. Because showing Michael Jordan for 5 seconds or talking to him after they win a race is nice. He's not playing basketball anymore. It's not the same thing.
Well, I think that, obviously this is Michael Jordan's and Denny Hamlin's team, and Jordan's going to get a lot of the notoriety, but he's not behind the wheel. Tyler Reddick is behind the wheel, as is Bubba Wallace. And I think that, looking forward, people, they know what Jordan can do. I think they're still suspect about what Reddick can do. And I think that, NASCAR is in a position right now, they've got to capitalize on this. They've got to capitalize on Reddick's, to 3 wins in a row. They've got to capitalize on Jordan. And I think that, people that have left NASCAR as fans over the last, 5, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it's been, I think they're going to start coming back. I think they're slowly coming back. And I think that, if Reddick can continue this run, I'm not going to say he's going to win the next 5 races, but I mean, if he can continue to have top 5s and top 10s over these next 5 races, you're going to see a big, big jump, not only in the ratings, but also in the attention to his team, 23-11, and also Michael Jordan as well. I'll admit this one thing, though, Jason. If I'm Tyler Reddick, and I don't mean this in a negative way, don't get me wrong, but if I'm Tyler Reddick, I don't want to be known as Michael Jordan's driver, Tyler Reddick. I want to be known as Tyler Reddick. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, the fans have to understand that, okay, Jordan is the money guy. He owns the, co-owns the team, but the attention has to go to Reddick because he's the one that's doing the hard work, as well as his, crew chief, Billy Scott. So I think that, you look at this, and that's where the focus has got to be. At some point, Reddick himself might say, well, it's me. It's not Michael. Michael's helping, but I'm the guy behind the wheel.
Has Bubba Wallace been the second best driver so far this season?
I'd say he's probably the 3rd or 4th best. I wouldn't put him as the 2nd best, but the point is though, I don't think he's finished any lower than 12th. I think in a race. Yesterday, I believe he was 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So he's been up there. He's been knocking on the door, and I think that winning begets winning. And if your teammate is winning 3 in a row, it's about time for you to win 3 in a row, or at least a couple of them in a row. So I think that you're going to see a whole lot different Bubba Wallace going forward over these next 3, 4, 5 races. And I would not be surprised to see him win 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 of those races as well.
It's amazing for Michael Jordan's team. In the last 40 seconds that I have here, as you start to look ahead at these next couple of races, who stands out to you as the person you think is most likely to challenge Tyler Reddick?
I'd say Christopher Bell is my number 1 guy. I mean, I think that he's just, he is a superstar in the waiting. I mean, he's already a star, but I think that, if he gets a couple, remember, he had 3 wins in a row last year, so he can do it just as much as Tyler Reddick can do it. So I would keep my eyes on him, and I'm keeping my eyes just in general on Toyota. Toyota's, 3 of the first 5 guys, or 3 of the first 4 guys yesterday were Toyota guys. They're really making a mark this year, and I think it's going to continue too as well.
Jerry Bonkowski does a great job, joins us every Monday on the show. Essentially Sports. Check out his NASCAR work there. Always appreciate you, my friend. Have a great week. We'll do it again in a week.
You too, man. I'll talk to you next week.
Maybe Tyler Reddick will have won again. We're coming back with odds and ends next.